helping people remember a dark period in history with music. In his latest I Have a Story, Greg McQuaid and photographer Curtis Akers show us how dozens of instruments on a world tour have landed in Richmond for an extended stay.
Hi, good evening.
Music has a way.
Well, thank you so much. You need 2, 3?
Of pulling people together.
I can check you in over here if you want.
For these ticket holders,
Thanks so much. Have a great time.
their wait
Here's a program for you.
is finally over.
I hope you all enjoy your time.
Thank you.
Anticipation has been building.
Good evening. Thank you for coming.
Patrons
So it is my pleasure to welcome you on behalf of all of the museums.
do not want to miss this event.
It's about memory. It's about family history.
A concert more than 80 years in the making. Taking center stage on this night, the instruments. Violins of Hope is a traveling exhibit crisscrossing the globe.
It's a very unique instrument.
Avshi Weinstein is the co-founder.
Some of them can take 1 or 2 years of restoration.
The Israeli woodworker and his father Amnon build and restore violins in their workshop 6,000 miles away.
You have to be rather very, very precise.
The duo's specialty? Strings with a story.
I'm working with violins which are anywhere from few years old up to almost 500 years old. They all have history.
Many of these instruments belonged to Jewish musicians in the early 1900s.
This is what those people had. This is what they could afford. The good stuff was confiscated.
Their violins survived. Many of the music makers did not.
We tried to bring them back to life, and with them, the story of their previous owners.
Avshi launched the Violins of Hope to honor his 400 family members who perished in the Holocaust.
They all tell us the story of the war. This war is built from hundreds of millions of people's stories, good or bad, sad or happy.
If you listen closely, Avshi says you hear the souls of the original musicians.
When a person plays on an instrument for a very long time, he leaves something of himself or herself inside the instrument.
And I heard the music coming out of these violins from the Holocaust. It was really something to behold.
Virginia Holocaust Museum Executive Director Sam Asher says it's taken 3.5 years for the exhibit to reach Richmond.
It's one thing for me to look at the instruments, but when the musicians took them, felt them, held them, played them, it was unbelievable.
Sam says for prisoners in concentration camps, music provided an escape.
You were transported in time out of the terrible situation you were living in, back to a time when it was a semblance of normal life.
This is why they've been restored. They're supposed to be used.
The museum's archivist Tim Hensley says even in their advanced age, the violins remain durable.
Most of these are either from the 1800s, late 1800s, or the early 1900s.
Not so silent witnesses to an unforgettable period.
So in that case, we are assuming that the person who actually gave up this violin probably did not survive.
I mean, it's amazing to think where this viola has been.
Molly Sharp is a member of the Richmond Symphony.
The music helps you transform them and heal them.
The professional musician says playing the exhibit's only viola can pull the heartstrings. But Molly tries not dwelling on the past too much while performing.
You know, the story of this instrument is not over. It's a living memorial in a way, and we are keeping them alive by continuing to play them.
There are no two instruments which are the same.
Avshi and Amnon are determined to expand their collection.
Where are we going to stop? Honestly, I don't know. We get very good feedbacks, which makes it even better. Hopefully we will go on.
The father and son are searching for more violins linked to the Holocaust before they're lost forever.
Violins of Hope is a way to remember, it's a way to cherish, and it's a way to hear a different time.
For Avshi Weinstein, the power of Violins of Hope rests in the sound.
In the end, we only know the final result when the violin is being played.
Sadness and joy reverberating across the decades. A sound that not only brings people together, but it can also bring them to their feet.
This is also a resurrection of these instruments to remind us of these people, to remind us of a terrible time, but also to give us hope. And that's why they're called the Violins of Hope.